This is Samus, and you're listening to Press Start to Continue at Valley Free Radio, Northampton, WXOJOP 103.3 FM.
And the girl of the dawn turn on her only crown. Broken mirror, a million shades of light. Your liquid fades away, but just you and I can find the answer in this. We can run to the end of the world. We can run to the end of the world. We met in the mist of morning and parted deep in the night. Broken sword and shield and tears that never fall, but run through the heart washed away by the darkest water. The world is peaceful and still. Broken mirror, a million shades of light. The omega fades away, but just you and I can find the answer in this. We can run to the end of the world. We can run to the end of the world.
What is going on, everybody? This is Morlock, and you're listening to Press Start to Continue, 2 full hours of video game remixes and nerdcore hip-hop. We just heard some awesome remixes. The first one, well, the last one, was Bubble Man, the Electron mix by Electron from Mega Man 2. Before that, 7 Years Broken by DJ Pretzel from Xenogears. DJ Pretzel is actually the person that started Overclock Remix, so props to him, definitely. And we start off with A Journey in Solitude by Blue Magic from Saga Frontier. If you have any requests, if you have any questions, if you, I have no idea. If you want to get in contact with me, I'd love to hear from you. You can email me, pressstartmorlock@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at pressstartlock. You can follow me on Twitch. It's at pressstartmorlock on Twitch. If you want to go on Facebook, facebook.com/start to continue. You can go to starttocontinue.com and check out the website. Listen to past shows, and there's links to the podcast and all the Twitter and everything, and also the YouTube channel, which I'm trying to grow a little bit. So let's keep going. This one is a longer one. This is called The Crystal Guillotine from Wyrgan. Wyrgan. Wyrgan? Let's go with that. It's from Hyper Light Drifter, which is an excellent game, and you don't hear a lot of remixes from that, so I hope you enjoy it. The Crystal Guillotine from Wyrgan from Hyper Light Drifter, and you're listening to Press Start to Continue.
this game?
What's it rated? Let's see. T for teen with violence and suggestive themes? No.
Video games are fun, but not all games are right for all players. Look for the rating symbol in content descriptors and read the rating summaries that tell you what's actually in the game.
This one better?
Much.
For more information about ratings and rating summaries, visit esrb.org.
You're listening to Press Start to continue.
Yar, matey, that was dumb. The Pirates of Oblivion by John Riverdo. And that is from Elder Scrolls 4. Before that was a Hyperlife Drifter remix from Wirkin called The Crystal Guillotine. Let's see, all of the music from this first hour on Press Start to Continue is from Overclock Remix. I mentioned it in the first section of the show. Overclock Remix, you go to ocremix.org, you can find a ton of free music to download. It's really great. If you like video game music, if you like remixes, there are multiple genres of music. There are classical stuff, there's electronica stuff, there's metal and all sorts of stuff. There's acapella. So definitely check that out, ocremix.org. This next one is called Windrose. It's by Outset Initiative, Andrew Steffen, and Shipless. And it's from another game that you don't see a lot of remixes for. This is Fez. So Windrose by All Them People, and you're listening to Press Start to Continue. The Floodplain by JJT that's a remix from F-Zero. It's a classic. It's one of my favorites. If you've listened to the show before, you know I'm a sucker for piano remixes, so this section was just great. Before that was Koopa versus Kefka from Shu from Super Mario World, and we started off with Windrose by Outset Initiative, Andrew Steffen, and Shipless from Fez. And if you are a remixer, if you create game music, if you are a composer or anything, I would love to talk to you. I would love to talk to you or play your music on the show. So remember, my email is pressstartmorlock@gmail.com, and you can get me on Twitter, as Twitter is @pressstartlock. So please let me know, because I love playing music from a wide variety of people, and sometimes I get to interview them, which is really fun. The next one, let's see, Baño de Sangre from the Plasmas, and this is from Castlevania 3. There are so many rock and metal Castlevania remixes, and I have no idea why, but this one is great. Baño de Sangre from the Plasmas, and you're listening to Press Start to continue.
がプレススタートコンティニューです。
That was While the Windfish Sleeps by B. Gevko from Zelda Link's Awakening. I really wanted to play that because they just announced that they are going to be doing a remake of Zelda Link's Awakening, which is so awesome. It is, I think Link's Awakening is the first Zelda game I actually like ran through completion. Like I actually finished. Like I had played Zelda before, but when I played that on Game Boy, it really stuck to me. So I'm really excited to play that again. It's like I said, it's like the first Zelda game that really made me fall in love with the actual series. And before that was Polar Star Overdrive by Jorn de Bruin from Cave Story. And we started off with Banho de Sangra from the Plasmas from Castlevania 3. We've got one more, but I just want to remind everybody that if you want to come on the show, if you want to send me, I love getting music. Please send me music. Please send me new music. Then you can email me, pressstartmorlock@gmail.com. And speaking of interviews and new music, next hour, we have our final interview for Black History Month. I got to talk to Kadesh Flow. It was really awesome. Some really interesting stuff. And it was a long interview, so I had to cut out a bunch. So go to starttocontinue.com and you'll be able to listen to the full interview. And trust me, it's really interesting. So definitely go check that out. But stay tuned. We've got some more Nerdcore. We've got a few songs by Kadesh Flow and that great interview. Don't go away. So this next song is Dreaming on Distant Shores by Relic. It's from Earthbound. Hope you enjoy it. And like I said, don't go away. We got that interview coming up. You're listening to Press Start to Continue.
Hey everybody, you're listening to
Did you mean press start to continue, Ben?
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. You're listening to Press Start to Continue.
You're listening to Press Start to Continue on Valley Free Radio Northampton, WXOJLP 103.3 FM. After 10 p.m., VFR allows us to play music with adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Famous fucking failures finally figured out they didn't want to grab my neck. These asinine assholes push me ever farther into isolation. I'm the anti-hero, nonetheless. You're the bit of bad guy, still in the shadows, alone at best. Understand the anger, thought you gave it the brass ring. Face reality, you sold 2 copies, that was thanks to me. Tipping the hat, wagging the finger, listen up. You're a really bad rapper, I don't need to bring your past up. Anybody that knows you knows you're way too sensitive. I pushed you into the nest, you fell straight down onto the pavement. Brush it off, keep going at this rate of self-improvement, chum. You're with a decent record down and a dozen more decilium. I was busy making my personal salt and pepper. It took you 2 years to make a record, never got any better. Rolling your love letter and your best punchline was like, hey man, your friends are so much fucking cooler than mine. They all down, he was so standing with the hands out. Down, he was still standing with his hand out.
No, a message from your sound guy.
Hey man, I don't care about your band. Don't give a fuck about your mic plan and how you played the show last night. Fucking grand. A regular Paul McCartney. Hardly any difference here between you and I don't know Pearl Jam. Listen up, I heard you in the bathroom throwing shade on the barkeep. The payout and the last dudes to take the stage while you stood outside on your cell phone taking Instagram photos of your PBR and ass. Cool, I get it, I've been there. The bitter musician sitting at the center of attention, slipping off, living pretty until the people stop coming. Had to show every fucking beat, and then heavy on the air quotes. You gotta blame the scene. Step back, look around. You're not a fucking martyr. You're not a helping hand with all that bullshit that you are. But sit in the bathroom and pout. Should've promoted the show harder. And when I called you out, you stood there shaking your head like, oh, I guess I shouldn't have done it. They all down, he was still standing with the hands out. Still standing with a hand out. So now it seems the situation deteriorates further every day. You feel a million opportunities flooding off and spitting in face. It's true. You want the voice of a generation, aren't the voice of a movement. Any sort of young sensation. Nobody owes you a damn thing. They don't know a thing to me. Nobody took anything away. There was nothing to give. See, you called it putting in work. Like your hands were bleeding, but you never built a thing. You were only reaching.
Gross. I get my sword up on the skyward. What would you die for? I want that Triforce. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. I'm doing this. Magic arrows I'm shooting. Then you already know my name is who would win between the bluish pig and I'm rooted in. When I left things evidently worsened. Got to work in, never got discouraged. After my quest I was a whole different person. Got that wisdom, power, courage. I got the trinity and a whole lot of enemies that wanna finish me. Now I'm people hinting, but you were not listening. And now you're too close to my prime proximity. Hey, I move quicker than sheep do. Didn't mean to be deceitful. Had to hustle so I could feed my people. To beat the evil with lethal needles. Hey, you got some skills to learn. Favors win, that's a kill confirmed. Dense fire, make you feel the burn. Like when they go to be to get real concerned. Need you protecting me with love. Reflect everything that come. I've been beating up dudes since Link was young. My victory talks, I'm not speaking up. Yeah, I get my sword. Yeah, I'm on the skyward. What would you die for? I want that Triforce. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. wisdom, courage, power. Hey, I just wanna see new seas, control the wind like Julie. Gotta watch my back, cause believe you me, they wanna see me dead like the Deku tree. Nobody here beating me. I strike fear, gearing him. Always reappear, Demi King. Homie, I'm a fierce deity. Release the power of the 7 sages. I'm the hero of time. I am never waiting, ready to fight the Demi King. When the hesitation, cause at the end of the big final destination, Hypo Temple, that's my arena. Through the lens of true see you protect the trap force like I'm a Sheikah. Put your mouth on me, a blow like an ocarina. Someone had to die, making us both, that's again aside. Happily the game with a lack of pride, they can get disrespect. I'll be landing spikes. When is he Ganondorf? I'll run. Got more strength than a go-round does. I'm gonna let you know you're not tough. Your stuck's done with a warlock punch. Look, I get my sword, I point it skyward. What would you die for? I want that Triforce. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. Hey, I get my sword, I point it skyward. What would you die for? I want that Triforce. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power. Wisdom, courage, power.
Other people have used this beat. Other people have used this beat. I chose to use this beat cause SoundCloud said the download was free. Ja the MC's a great producer, but I only use this beat cause I didn't have to pay to go do the thing I don't charge other people for. After regurgitating nerdy angst of such verbose lengths, even the darn Sonos speaker's bored. Please ignore the derivative flavor of this admittedly uninventive berater. Her anger are the same words over repetitive BPMs. I should've used some preventative freebie lens, but here I am, too many bars into writing this to not flesh out this one trick pony of a concept into lightning, bitch. I hope you like to sit, cause this 4-minute ditty's gonna feel like 5 minutes. By the time that I'm finished over this beat you've already heard by nerds who are twice as sick. But what am I gonna do? I can't afford the licensing. Self-righteousness and lack of funds is what's keeping me from releasing something you think, oh yeah, it might be his. Other people have used this beat. Other people have used this beat. I chose to use this beat cause SoundCloud said the download was free. Other people have used this beat. Other people have used this beat. I chose to use this beat cause SoundCloud said the download was free. Yo, shout out to the tags on this. They used it to try and deter you from making an exclusive, but screw it, I'm embracing the crap out of it. Bask in the trashiness, I'm flat out just grabbing this. Ja obviously doesn't mind, otherwise he wouldn't have made that button live. We'll force you to a landing page that makes you create a password using your address and your grandma's name, and what you get's an X-rated gif of some asshole play anime. Snagged this wave and had to rant and rave. I don't mean to exacerbate this pummeling of an already deceased steed, but I'm starting to repeat myself, I can't help it. There's not much to be decreed that hasn't been yet. Every avenue's been well traversed, and seldom would you welcome another self-aware concern, but I felt the urge to tell you jerks that other people have used this beat. Other people have used this beat. I chose to use this beat cause SoundCloud said the download was free. Other people have used this beat. 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 I encourage you to pay for things. Don't be lazy. It's dangerous to audaciously claim you're not taking the source material when you're Ori. We're all like, is this real life? Are we in North Korea now? Your bars are terrible. Abort the mission. No one wants to be forced to listen to that cockamamie composite painting of verbs and vowels and nouns and consonants constantly copulating with lazy comical commentary. Cop verbatim from John Mulaney. Odds of maybe I'm the first person you've heard of this. And admittedly I did a search for other versions of it and came up empty-handed. But it's not to say if you find one, hey, and it's kinda great, well, let me have it, literally and figuratively. I'll be rigorously littering speech into the spit valves of these instruments. See? Seems I'm the first one to use this beat. I'm the first one to use this beat. I only chose to use this beat cause SoundCloud said the download was free. Other people probably have used this beat though. Other people probably have used this beat though. I only chose to use this beat though cause SoundCloud said the download was a freebo. You know what a freebo is, don't even pretend like you don't. But check out Ja the MC on SoundCloud. You don't need to check me out. I got a mirror. I'm good. Oh, I do have a fucking snot though. Ugh.
Sup everybody, this is Morlock and you're listening to Press Start to Continue. I got an hour of Nerdcore music coming up for you and a really special thing at the end of the show. But first, let's go through what we just heard. That was Other People by Cordless from his album Jackson Pollock. It was produced by Ja the MC, Free DL with tags. Before that was Triforce by Gross Angel from Super Smash Flow. And we started off with Handouts from Michael Cahill. It's featuring Sisonek of Autocorrect, and it's from Human Disaster. If you are an artist, or if you have music that you would like to play on the show, I would love to hear from you. My email is pressstartmorlock@gmail.com. You can get me on Twitter @pressstartlock. You can follow me on Twitch, which I am streaming a lot more, and I actually stream when I'm recording the show. So I'm streaming right now. So the twitch.tv/pressstartmorlock. And you can go to facebook.com/starttocontinue, or you can go to the website, starttocontinue.com. There's past shows, there's links to all the podcasts that I do, and the YouTube, where I'm going to start uploading a lot more stuff, like I'm uploading the weekly shows. I'm going to start uploading my interviews at some point soon. That's kind of a side project that I'm doing, so keep an eye out on that. On YouTube, just search for Press Start to Continue DLC. Now, continuing on, this is As Good As It Gets by Anorexia. It's from Nonsense Volume 2, and you are listening to Press Start to Continue.
What if this is as good as it gets? This is as good as it gets.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm a bottom feeder, multi-eater. Gotta feed that intellect. Off the meter, mocking heaters. Honestly, keep it check a wreck in a terrible blaze. I expect waste a nice taste in the life. In all of its splendor, pour drinks in the blender. Let it all bend, y'all. Straight to the sky, we live life, do or die. Who am I? Are you spying this iris? Ink bled through papyrus. Stained brain flow through my phalange. Outlandish things, panicking, then handling. Anything that's thrown, I've shown, we blown. Wake and bake, begin another passage. Sewing on some passage, burn like some acid. Imagining the earth sands, half of the hurting. Damn, raise up your curtain, you'll seep off the serpent. We bleed for a purpose. Me, I'm just working for the lost cause. Search and seek, keep it on pause. I'm a confused cruise female, addicted to details. Prescriptions enlisted, along with the weed sales. Along with attached scales, as long as it can't fail. Won't turn tail and scuffle. I'm burning in a bubble. I'm yearning, you're burned to a curve that won't straighten. Words that sizzle, just like it Miles Bacon. I'm mistaken for a butterfly. I wonder why you plunder my some other guy. Reached up, grabbed it prematurely. I haven't, but I've had it stuck in it like some maggots. Padded walls, got some galls, and you say it's magic. The panic arrives in a manic disguise. You ain't ever seen pupils half of this size. No puking, despite the Dramamine, no handling or managing these standard things. Imagining escape. I'm planning to take nothing, cause these somethings are bluffing. Assumption-led discussion, hold up on the trusted. I'm managing outlandish things, panicking, then handling anything that's thrown. I've shown, we blown. Wake and bake, begin another passage. Sewing on some passions, burning like some acid. Imagining the earth sands, half of the hurting. Damn, raise up your curtain, you seep off the serpent. We bleeding for a purpose. Me, I'm just working for the lost cause. Search and seek and keep it on pause. I'm managing outlandish things, panicking, then handling anything that's thrown. I've shown, we blown. Wake and bake, begin another passage. Sewing on some patches, burning like some acid. Imagining the earth sands, half of the hurting. Damn, raise up your curtain, you seep off the serpent. We bleeding for a purpose. Me, I'm just working for the lost cause. Search and seek and keep it on pause. Type of woman who cusses like she sails the seas. The overtrusting is looming, I impale disease. I smile devilishly with my Kool-Aid grin. Smoking Doja, heavily thinking who made sin. May have been the latter, but does it really matter? I'm token then provoking deeply from my brain open. There's no appearing in this clearing. Clarity is just so searing. Apparently I'm fearing nothing but the worst. While they sit and argue who arrived here first. Who do I reverse? How do I rehearse? I regurgitate murder, reaching every single verse. Put away your problem solver, that thing you call revolver. I promise to take beyond, then kill each other's fathers. Let's smoke until a roach. Hoping we can post out another's hood and let it float on. I'm provoking a passion. Token like it's going out of fashion, and I'm lost in my thoughts again. I got so many scribbles, but no words to pen. I'm not saying these rhymes are sick, but they got a slight cough, and the phlegm is thick. You know I pen this shit in between my token. I'm so ripped and lit, I'm about to split open the scribbles, the asterisks, the madness is internal. I riddled through the middle, poured it all into my journal. Sick of burning like lightning, churning through internal turning to just like a Mike Tyson. I die just like Bison, putting up a warning message, pointing to the obvious, bitch, it's been expected. What? I'm thinking we sink, I'm flowing down the drain. The drugs I can't afford, you know I paint the same. The chords, the bar, the car that need a change of oil. While I need a change of soil, I'm spoiled. Those stainless spoons, the smoke-filled rooms, I'm wrapped in paper, busting out cocoons. So soon I always try to wrap it up like Burger King. I relish in people, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. Dealing with people lifts covers off platters. So brain matter's plastered, I'm all tattered, can't repair. It's beyond salvage, it be our palate, soaking up the malice. Managing outlandish things, panicking and handling anything that's thrown, I've shown we blow. Wake and bake, begin another passage, burning like some acid, sowing on some passion. Imagining the earth, saying's half of the hurt, and damn, raise up your curtain, you seep off the surface, we bleed for a purpose. Me, I'm just working for the lost cause, search and seek and keep it on pause. Managing outlandish things, panicking and handling anything that's thrown, I've shown we blown. Wake and bacon, begin another passage, sowing on some passage, burning like some ashes. Imagining the earth, saying's half of the hurt, and damn, raise up your curtain, you seep off the surface, we bleed for a purpose. Me, I'm just working for the lost cause, search and seek and keep it on pause.
What if this is as good as it gets? This is as good as it gets. This is as good as it gets. This is as good as it gets.
A genius, yeah. I'm genius.
A genius. I take it easy. They can't keep me from my AAVE as if SAT, state tests, and ACTs be any measure of brains. That's how they naysay Yeezy about his genius. I don't agree with his every word, but it's egregious how some idiots don't see he has any worth. And any jerk or critics, they get in on every nerve. All that does is drive somebody real nutty like Eddie Murph. It's a pattern that I notice from haters of lots of rappers. Some rather see us going the way of velociraptors. Disturbed to see us turning that Turner on all our chapters, determined to mass murdering words up on every rap verse. No, they cannot explain the shit that Gene Simmons said. You should be ashamed to share the same sentiment. They can never say that Miss ain't killing them. Gotta say my name's the same as a synonym for genius. It's not mandated by any edicts. Genius. It does not care about your appearance. Genius. Don't give a damn about your allegiance. Venus to Serena, Lupita to Juno Diaz. The genius. It's not mandated by any edicts. Genius. It does not care about your appearance. Genius. Don't give a damn about your allegiance. Venus to Serena, Lupita to Juno Diaz. The genius. Let me stop and give thanks, or my head'll get so big they'll act like it's cranks. So big, it's like my thoughts have implants, cause it's sobering to think that I'm smart like think tanks. I had dreams of quests for tracks at fat beats, now I spit to rap heads. Got blessed by mag geeks, I'm down at MagFest, Southwest and PAX East, to spit to rap vets and confess my pet peeves. I'm Dave Grohl, food fighting, I'm rocking fat tees. I stay woke through writing, give props to Patrice, Lumumba to O'Neal. Don't forget about Emmett Till, I'm indebted to Uncle Phil. I pray they're at peace. She chock full of knowledge, yeah, how can she acknowledge it? God forbid she talk up her accomplishment. They'll posit that her frontal lobe is probably pumped with fillers like some collagen. Black and cold as one below, they'll kill her cause she confident. A genius is not mandated by any edicts. Genius, it does not care about your appearance. Genius, don't give a damn about your allegiance. Venus to Serena, Lupita to Juno Diaz. The genius is not mandated by any edicts. Genius, it does not care about your appearance. Genius, don't give a damn about your allegiance. Venus to Serena, Lupita to Juno Diaz. The genius.
That was Genius by Samus from her album Pieces in Space. One of my favorite artists. Definitely, if you can see her live, I highly suggest it. The show is amazing. She always puts on a great show. Really powerful. That's all I can say. And before that was Good As It Gets by Anorexia from Nonsense Volume 2. And now we are going to have my interview with Kadesh Flow. It's the end of Black History Month. And what a Black History Month it's been. But I'm able to give you this interview. We get to listen to some of his music, some of his new music from his album Talking Moods. But we'll get into that through the interview. But right now we're going to listen to Glassy Eyes. It's from Kadesh Flow from his album Room Service, and it is featuring IQ. I hope you enjoy it.
Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. I am not here to be average, every beat I touch is rapping. Look, my ambition is massive, I am not here to be passive. I am not here for you has-beens, this is my chance to go grab it. KF for the logo, distractions the no-go. NPC your OG, otherwise I'm rolling solo. She been fiending for that good wood, acting like I'm Miyamoto. I ignore it, keep it moving. Look, I'm not trying to be cold, yo, I'm just way too focused on the next move. Loyalty, my ladies holding me down. I'm here to bring the Gatsu, the 10 shoulder, whatever stage I got to groove. Here's the situation, let's review. It used to be that we were not included in these places, conversations and movements like some major booking us was too afraid we lose it. Know the type, swear with rappers always lacking safety. Try to say we're making every matter racist. When we talk about experiences, every different shade of us a matter racist. So we advocate so people know we have a place here. At these panels, we'll be testifying. Break the darkness so we get the buy it. Then we hit the shows and you can't deny it. You can't. Ask her with mom before they think about how hip hop was denied in this place. Hurry up, Domino's, hope you can reason out what we've been trying to say. Learn to cut the beer missing from y'all conversations. Though we been present at cons up, you make it till we pull up and we make our statements. We're here to stay and love. Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. I am not here to be average, every beat I touch is rapping. Look, my ambition is massive, I am not here to be passive. I am not here for you has-beens, this is my chance to go grab it. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling.
People crowding those spaces and acting like you knew you don't belong to the culture cause they don't rock with you. Something you'll never do is tell me how to move. I keep on working and hustling, it's undeniable. See, I don't play these games and you can keep the fame, cause me and you, homie, we are not the same. Keep holding on, but there is no escape. The future's here to occupy the space and you were never great. I articulate because I think it's appropriating. You can copy words with ERs and A's, but you can never stop what I was born to make. See, I don't have time to care about the lies and things that people will never say to me. I'm making these moves, I'm using these tools in places most of you never gonna see. Talking about he did this and how she did that and everything somebody else should do. You're tired of this and tired of that. You're salty cause you never made a move. Talking about all that I do, thinking someone should respect you. This is the way that I see you, front to the back to the rear view. I will never get it. It's funny how some committed to thinking the status quo is a place of power they can control.
Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. Living this life is amazing, bopping, we feeling so wavy. I am not here to be average, every beat I touch is rapping. Look, my ambition is massive, I am not here to be passive. I am not here for you has-beens, this is my chance to go grab it. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy eyes, but we broke that glass ceiling. We got glassy
And that was Glassy Eyes, featuring IQ by Kadesh Flow. That's off his new album, Room Service, and I'm really happy to have Kadesh Flow on Press Start to Continue. Thanks for coming on, man.
What's up, Morlock? How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Just really, really busy. It's wild times. It's good busy. You know, it's a blessing to be busy in this way, but gosh, this week is nuts.
We have been trying to set this interview up for a while. Like, we've been circling each other, like, for a good minute. Yeah, like I said, it's great to have you on. Your new album, Otaku Moods, just came out, I think, about a month ago, on January 25th. It sounds great, and one thing I always talk to people about is, well, my first question is, where did you get your name?
Oh man, I think mine is a little bit different from a lot of people. It's not nerd inspired at all. It's actually a heavy spirituality component. When I was in college, I basically can only describe it as like this God conference, and people who attended border from like casual faith to like somewhat radical, from an evangelical standpoint. And they were talking about just like the meaning of the word Kadesh and basically how it came up. It's a Hebrew word that just means set apart or indescribably different. And that people think holy means like, you know, sanctimonious or what have you. And really, people just were using that to describe God because they didn't know what to describe the entity they were experiencing. So they were like, well, we don't know how to describe you, so we'll just call you set apart and different because that's all we got, basically. And, you know, a lot of things have changed with me since that. But my friends, like, kind of stuck that on me. I really felt very uncomfortable taking it because I was going to go by Absalom Phoenix when I was going to change my rap name, because my rap name used to be BND, which is really lame.
Yeah, maybe.
BND. And yeah, it was really lame. high school moniker I picked up. But they were calling me Kadesh because I'm different and my flow's different, and they had never heard anybody go about talking about things I was talking about, and especially with like the geek and nerd influence on like the social issues and stuff that I do. And eventually I just kind of relented and took it. And that's really like how that happened. And when I started, I was just going by Kadesh, and I was like, yeah, I mean, there's like a Middle Eastern province called Kadesh, and then like the Battle of Armageddon supposed to be somewhere around, you know, there's a Battle of Kadesh. I did Kadesh Flow because my flow is set apart and whatever. And yeah, that's how that happened.
The big question that I always ask people, you know, it's Black History Month, and I'm having Black artists on, just talking about how their race affects their music or their career and everything like that, you know?
Yeah.
So how does that affect things for you? I mean, just thinking about nerdcore in general, it's very, you know, white dominated genre of music, if I'll say that.
Yeah.
And it can, and being Black in that kind of space can be unique. So how does that affect you? How does that affect you and your music?
For me, I think initially I was concerned that nerdcore wouldn't really accept me because I had seen, like, I wasn't directly a part of a lot of the communities I'm a part of now and online stuff, but I'd look at like message boards, comments on YouTube things and whatnot, and there seemed to be a disconnect between the traditional nerdcore, so to speak, and like some of the people who were people of color, or even who just sounded more like underground or mainstream hip hop, because a lot of nerdcore for a long time was in its own lane, where there was stuff that was that any hip hop head would really think was dope, but then there was stuff that just kind of sounded like anti-rap, like ironic, not rap.
Yeah.
Because the artist is into geek themes and classic hip hop, but isn't into what's happening now, and it felt kind of ironic. And also when I started putting on shows or putting out content, that really was something that didn't happen, that didn't feel comfortable doing until I saw that there was someone who looked like me doing it, who was Mega Ran.
Oh yeah.
And that really encouraged me a lot. And then right when I started doing that, Richie Branson and I kind of started doing Nerdcore around the same time, out from different experiences, and we linked up. And the not to like dish or anything like that, but people were really trashing both of us when we first really started putting stuff out because we were quote unquote too pandery, and we sounded like we were trying to pander to fan bases while sounding like rap. And to an extent, there was obviously validity to that. Like I did 3 entire rap mixtapes that were totally request driven. And it started as a content marketing experiment for my MBA program because the startup I was interning for failed while I was interning for it.
Ugh.
And I had to have some kind of credit. So like there was some validity for it to those comments, but it was just, there's like definitely a gatekeeping culture in Nerdcore.
Right.
And I think you see it lightening up as there are more like marginalized groups breaking into being like, this is not okay.
Wait. You said it's lightening up. You're talking about like black people getting kept out of space. It's lightening up.
I didn't think about that. Oh man, that's funny. Oh, that's really good.
So, wait a second. People were saying that you were pandering or something, like with your initial music. You were like trying to pander to a crowd or something.
Yeah, and like I said, to an extent, I was. But I just remember the level of this is not what's supposed to be happening. I'm like kind of sitting. That shadow is not super engaging. Like this doesn't belong here. And the thing was like what we were doing didn't sound quirky. Even with the stuff that I did that wasn't produced well, it still sounded like, kind of rapidy rap, or like somebody who might be trying to get on the radio one day or something like that.
Right.
That's the best way I could put it. Like, just barring out, but it's about, Inuyasha or something, versus like kind of just quirky, happy-go-lucky, like rapping about the stuff I love, which is a lot of Nerdcore, and that's great, by the way. Just the seeing that level of gatekeeping in the shadows made me not really want to be a part of the community, and some other people in the collective convinced me to join the VPC, the Vocalist Producer Challenge, in 2014. And so I tag team with Richie, and we were expected to just get trashed, but we did it because people in the collective convinced us to do it, and we won the whole thing.
Nice.
And like we really got a lot of love from I think once we really started engaging in the community and whatnot. So that's like the background. But now, I guess the way I approach things, there's a Glassy Eyes is an answer to that question in a song. I just want to give you some background on it.
Yeah, sure.
Because Glassy Eyes is really, hey, the spirit of Glassy Eyes is saying, hey, I'm so amazed that we're here. We're playing some of the biggest conventions in the continental US right now. We're playing some dope music festivals. We can tour out of the COD festivals and actually tour. We have we're building followings, we're growing as artists. We have a long way to go, but it's awesome that we're able to be here. However, we had to break through a glass ceiling to get here, and we need to make sure that that's still a conversation so people, don't forget, and B, don't do it again, because like people like Mega Ran had to break hip hop into a lot of these cons. There were cons that were like the head of programming wanted to book me, and then they got overridden by their board because the board thought I would be inciting violence because I was a rapper, even though like I don't even swear in my lyrics.
Wait, what? Inciting violence?
Yep, that's literally doesn't make any sense. Like, did they listen to my music? And, programming person would be like, yeah, but it's awesome to have gotten to this point where a lot of times we bypass that barrier now, because that was a real barrier. That's something that I'm always aware of as a Black geek / nerdy themed rapper, always aware of and addressing, in some way, form, or fashion in my shows.
So something I always ask people when they're on the show is, so if I was just a random person and I walked up to you on the street and said, what do you do? what is nerdcore? Like, what is the type of music that you do? Like, can you explain it? Like, if I had no idea, how would you describe that to me?
Honestly, man, I have no idea. Not anymore. I think I did have, I guess, like a more concrete definition. But even the guy, like, if you ask MC Frontalot what nerdcore was, he would tell you that it's evolved and there isn't anything concrete. He coined the term nerdcore. It's just moved around a lot, I think, to where, like, I guess generally speaking, it's music that that highlights aspects or various facets of nerd and geek culture, or nerd and geek interests, which can include science fiction, tech, comics, anime, video games, and what have you. I think the problem with trying to define it now, and I say problem loosely, I mean the difficulty in defining nerdcore now is that it's a subgenre that, like a lot of subgenres, have kind of bled out into the greater genre of hip hop. Nerdcore hip hop, anyway. Nerdcore isn't just hip hop, but the nerdcore hip hop specifically has kind of bled out. The same way that like chiptune has kind of bled out a little bit into like the greater realm of EDM, and especially with like how pop culture has absorbed so much of what was considered geeky or nerdy at one point is now like super duper pop culture. It depends on where you go. So like in Alabama and really in a lot of places I went, people were like, "Oh man, you're rapping about anime, you're rapping about video games. That's wow, that's dope. I've never heard that." I get to Kansas City, and I don't know if you know much about Kansas, like strange music here, like Tech Nine's label, like Chris Calico and Seth's Crew, and all these like monumental independent rappers. There's just like a ridiculous amount of dope MCs in Kansas City. I'd say like Kansas City, Bay Area, and New York. It's like
really,
like Chicago too. There's like certain parts of the country where it's like it's a rapper's city, and people really, really spit. And I was explaining nerdcore to somebody who I thought knew and didn't ask me what it was, because they had a lot of bars that would be considered dirty bars that were dope. And he was like, "Oh, you just rap." And I like looked at him like he was crazy, because it was like so like he like it was just like a regular thing. And then I really noticed there are these monstrous MCs here, and they're all nerds, man, and they're moving into significant portions of independent hip hop realms. Like there's a rapper named Jimo Ski who's really, really making it himself, and he's got this like 8-bit beat, and he's rapping about being a final boss, and that joint's fire. And that song is, from an underground standpoint, kind of huge. And he's not a nerdcore rapper, but he's definitely a nerd. I remember opening for Seth's Crew at a show. It had a bunch of like dope independent artists in there. in Lawrence, Kansas, and like we're in the green room and everybody's rolling up and talking about anime. And I'm not talking like mainstream, like, you know, shonen stuff, like your DBSs and your, you know, One Pieces or whatever. I'm talking about like deep coats, deep cut kind of stuff, you know. You know, somebody was getting roasted because he hadn't seen Akira, you know, like, and like, you know, like, so I think with that like context, it's kind of hard for me to define nerdcore. It's easier for me to talk about what I rap about, because I literally rap about what I experience, what I see, and what I consume, and relating that to like what's going on with me internally and externally. And that's kind of it's become easier for me to describe where I'm coming from lyrically than it is where it actually is as time has passed.
So you got a new album that just came out called Otaku Moods. And I wanted to talk to you about one of these tracks. It's called Picking Up. It's featuring Atlas.
Yep.
And let's listen to it, and then after we can talk about how it was created, anything that went into it, process. But this is Picking Up by featuring Atlas. It is off the album Otaku Moods, and you're listening to Press Start to Continue.
Dash. Oh God, dear God, help me, cause I'm so blind. I dealt me a whole lot of stress from some bad decisions, a whole lot more for my ambition. I strategize and attack the prize. I fantasize and I grab my life. I make plans, but I've never known what to do. Epiphany's passion and planning, but I never had a clue. Plus she said she needed something new. Words that kept me deep. She didn't see my awkward faces, but it brought me to my knees. I really needed conversation. Best belief my heart was racing, then retreated, thinking in the depths of grief and condemnation. Never peach, I always treat them like they need a lot of saving when they always rescue me. Now I'm here just wishing that I could hear the breath she breathes. Fighting when a song's not sure how to move along to reach a healthy me.
Thought about giving up, but it wouldn't make sense cause it's picking up. My father told me I should live it up with a purpose. Now things are picking up. Ambitions that I didn't trust, and I'm missing how things are picking up. I love this, I can get enough. See me now, everything's picking up.
Yeah, this is what I've let in my brain. Going after things I thought I'd never attain, but I threw those thoughts over the rails like Vader tossed Palpatine. I don't have time to be dismayed, lost out in dreams. All the things I used to do was using you as my excuse. Needed more security if we were gonna be the truth. Blaming you for my decisions, that logic was pretty loose. Couldn't get my head on straight without sending you through the roof. Now I'm squashing feelings, trying to meet, connect, and network. Though my net worth's below par, I'll reinvest first. Now these conversations are starting to bring me checks. Used to feel salty seeing Facebook homies clean respect. They were touring, getting crowds in the thousands. I was at a bar watching local straight styling. They were signing deals, all their dreams becoming real, they were building. Now I'm in the same boat, working towards fulfillment. Hey.
Thought about giving up, but it wouldn't make sense cause it's picking up. My father told me I should live it up with a purpose. Now things are picking up. Ambitions that I didn't trust, and I'm missing how things are picking up. I love this, I can get enough. See me now, everything's picking up.
They grab me for shows, and you know I snap at every party. Hungry in the game, about to go cat this on everybody, yeah. That means I rebel against the paradigm, yeah. Never been concerned about a paradigm, yeah. Too busy on the move, things are picking up, yeah. Praise God, pops, keep me lifted up, yeah. Peak game, I can never give it up, yeah. Growth and progression, I can't get enough.
Thought about giving up, but it wouldn't make sense cause it's picking up. My father told me I should live it up with a purpose. Now things are picking up. Ambitions that I didn't trust, and I'm missing how things are picking up. I love this, I can get enough. See me now, everything's picking up. Thought about giving up, but it wouldn't make sense cause it's picking up. My father told me I should live it up with a purpose. Now things are picking up. Ambitions that I didn't trust, and I'm missing how things are picking up. I love this, I can get enough. See me now, everything's picking up.
That was Picking Up. That was by Kadesh Flow from his new album Otaku Moods featuring Atlas, and it's really awesome to have Kadesh Flow on Press Start to Continue. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So I wanted to talk more about Picking Up. Can you tell us about the song, like how it came to be and everything like that?
Yeah, so my homie Desmond Mason, he goes by D Professor, producer out here out of Kansas City, also an amazing piano player, jazz artist. He actually said, "Hey man, I won this national 8-bit beat competition, and I don't know anybody who would mess with this beat like you do." And he just shot it to me. and a little bit about what's coming. We might get to this later, we might not. But I'm working on a project called The Last Excuse right now. It's kind of the Otaku Moods is a prequel to The Last Excuse, and all this stuff was written between June 2015 and September 2016, which is around when I realized that my ex and I were in this kind of purgatory thing where we had broken up, but we were still attached at the hip, and it was like, okay, we're either going to get back together, or we have to stop talking. And at the same time, I was realizing with the way, everything I put out, if I tried to do anything in music, it actually like happened when I worked towards it. And I was like, oh, I may actually end up doing this. And I was in corporate America, really, kind of crushing it in my first job out of grad school. And so that idea freaked me out because I knew I was eventually going to have to be like, hey, I have to actually try this, which means I may need to leave some money on the table temporarily from a corporate ladder standpoint.
Put a shut up, huh?
Yeah. And from that, I wrote well over 100 songs, just therapeutically, exploring myself and narrowing those down and working on those. Ultimately ended up being Otaku Moods. Some of it is Otaku Moods. There's a Last Excuse, and then there's a thing after it called Now That the Chips Has Fallen. It's part of the Flashbacks and Come Ups trilogy. So it's like background for Picking Up was something that I actually wrote in, I want to say like April 2016. And it's a mixture of, hey, I'm making moves now. I just played MagFest with the NPC for the time a few months before that. And then a few months before the MagFest thing, my ex and I had stopped talking. And so that's really what you hear in the lyrics of that song. Things are picking up, but I'm kind of longing. And that song had just been sitting there, and D-Dot shot me that beat, and it was kind of perfect. So I had the hook. Atlas actually produces for me a lot, but he's a great singer and also a dope MC. He's a great songwriter. And I asked him to take the hook that I had done and just freak it a little bit, and he obliged.
But I wanted to ask you about this next song. It's called Party Thoughts. It's also from Otaku Moods. It's featuring Jessica Page. Can you tell me about the creative process of that? How that came about and all that?
Yeah, that was also in this process. Talking flashbacks between June 2015 and September 2016. I was feeling a lot of pressure, just trying to come up in the corporate ladder, but also try to book all these shows. I was recording at the time that, I was, stressed out about this whole relationship purgatory thing, like the not girlfriend, and we dated like all through college, so it was like this, it's not like some casual thing. It was like we were together for a long time. Yeah, it can't stay away from each other. So I was just like, kind of partying uncharacteristically more than I usually do. And I wrote about just the fear that I had sitting at a bar that I frequent a lot, of music venue I love, actually, just taking shots and watching, people on the prowl, and kind of sort of being on the prowl a little bit myself, but not really, because I'm in relationship purgatory. But I'm in relationship purgatory, and that conflict, and then thinking about somebody who is at home working obsessively, and how that should be me, and how much that bothered me. That's basically what Party Thoughts is. Another sidebar, Jessica Page, who's a phenomenal vocalist here out of KC. She's doing a lot of awesome stuff nationally too. She actually was an American Idol top 12 person a few years back. She's really good. And she's an amazing. She's awesome. She one-took this hook and then just did a background layer, and I gave her some change and she walked out. And we're like, homie,
down.
Yeah, and it's not like out of any, yeah, like not like any like disrespect or anything. We're like, but she just like walked in there and crushed it and left. And I was like, yo.
So it's really cool. It was really great to have you on. I've really wanted to get you on the show for a while. Remember, everybody, go to the show notes on the website starttocontinue.com for all of Kadesh Flow's information. Follow him on Twitter and whatever he's got, Bandcamp, and get all his music. It's really cool to also, because I was like ending the show with one of your tracks. It's been something that I've been doing for a while, you know.
So I always loved seeing those tweets, those Press Start to Continue tweets. Said, and now I love ending the show with Kadesh Flow. Here's a song, and I'd be like, oh.
So yeah, so like I said, it's great to have you on. Everybody check the websites, starttocontinue.com, or if you're listening on podcast, look in the show notes below. This is Kadesh Flow. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, Morlock. Appreciate it.
No problem. So this is Party Thoughts by Kadesh Flow from Otaku Moods. That was just released recently and is featuring Jessica Page. And I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll talk to you next time.
The third eye is your intuition.
There isn't any real need to change things just for the sake of changing.
They began to recognize flashing lights, habits fight to keep me out in this active night. Bases knocking, they can shake the floor. Faces talking while the drink is poured. My racing heart is trying to take some more, but I feel the pull, the bounce to race for doors. I don't understand why I'm here right now. Obvious answers get wasted. Sure, I've been making music, I can make some more at another time. Maybe during a moment when the sun will shine. Cause at night everything is undefined. Procrastination gets underlined. And if I work all day, get a party all night for the fun I find. When this realness come into play, say I'll get it a different day. Keep praying that soon I'll hit my pace. Got a bad lady in my face. Deadlines, I got deadlines. Bros trying to make sure I'm set kind. I wanna guarantee the we fetch times. But somewhere somebody else is working. He's hungry and he's deserving. He needs money, he sets his purpose. He'll reach his before I reach mine. Cause nothing deters him, no wild nights that can break his focus. No regrets when those dates are over. Fitness goals celebrating closure. While I'm here inebriated posing. And all my actions cast down on whether I really wanna have greatness moments. That's failure.
Is it seasonal? Give me a reason or some excuses to make. I'm abusing my days. I'm afraid and I need to know. Cause it won't even show when you view me in rays. Dodging moves I could make. I just need to go.
People out here excuses. I see these people out here excuses. Yeah. Stressing from chasing the bag. Got me wildin' out in this place. Shots and I think of my dad. Wondering what he would say. Dreamers consuming my head. I just needed to escape. Under pressure out here rapping pursuing life ain't really working. How to pass or do it. Look, I see her twerking, making rapid movements. Got a needy ex and look, we both been choosing. Then I'm needing the two. It smells of weed and perfume. DJ like God with the boom. Last shot hit me in the chin like a duke. Different sides of me, yeah, odds like Ryu and Akuma. I just up the prayer and the grounded in my room, huh? I never needed us to people to teach me. But when they talk about my achievements, it seems to be leeching. Gotta be privy to the secrets, they speaking and leaving. People believing that I'm gonna make it look easy. Hoping that none of us see me after beating on my chest, though. Because I'm driven to keep beating and it's stressful. My generation's opportunity is successful. Not if I'm a winner, I'm trying to be successful. I wanna fold like origami. Out on the nice, but no, you got me. World on my shoulders, call me coming. At least never feels that way. Still don't know why I'm in this place. Can't seem to find the strength to vacate.
I just need to go. I just need to go away from here. It's sucking out my soul.
I see these people out here in Houston. I see these people out here in Houston.
Of course, this is Valley Free Radio, Northampton, WXOG-OP 103.3 FM.
This show is part of the PlanetSide Productions Network. For more information, please visit www.planetside.pro, and thank you for listening.